All right, today we're going to get started on I'm going to call this a two-part sauce phase, right? The first part, we're using this incredible vodka sauce here, which is sous vide. Drop the bag in, get it hot. Needs nothing, right? But what we're also going to do is create a topping on top of that. And what I'm going to do is a tomato dish that I used to do in the restaurants many years ago with garlic, some herbs, and really just kind of cook it over olive oil and really get the tomatoes so soft they're holding their structure, but they're not exactly bled out. And to do that, you got to kind of go easy with the oil. So you need a really good quality olive oil, which we're going to put in here. And you really have to, like, I could stand and talk all day long just because you really need a lot. So we're going to be putting a lot of olive oil in here, and what we're going to be doing is obviously roasting the garlic, but we're roasting it whole because this is going to be kind of cooking slowly with the tomatoes. So we don't want to cut the garlic too small because what will happen is it'll burn, change the whole flavor profile of this. I mean, you could, when it's good olive oil, you could smell it coming out of the bottom, you know? I just don't understand how somebody can go to the supermarket and get cheap oil knowing that it's going to clog their arteries. That to me is just like next level questioning. All right, I think we got enough oil there. Someone told me if you cut yourself, you could put a good quality olive oil. It's like an antiseptic, they say. Well, all right, got this garlic. Now you see I smashed it. Well, that's how you take the garlic out of the skin for people who haven't been watching the show for 20 years. Just take the whole garlic. That's it, done. Get the skin comes right off. Now, the whole garlic form is going to go right in there. Okay, same thing. Get that skin off. Take the garlic, throw it in there. Basil, watch your face. And oregano with the stem. I don't do this with many herbs, but oregano's got flavor coming down even from the stem, believe it or not. You're going to have a really good flavor in there as well. And the oil shouldn't be too hot. And then we're going to take our tomatoes and go face side down in the oil. And this is, technically really should be done in the oven. Now technically this would be great going in the oven, but we're not going to go in the oven. We're going to do this over the fire, and we're going to baste these tomatoes. You know, you could really cook a tomato right, you know. There's a lot of ways to cook it wrong, but there is a way to cook a tomato right. At the end of this show, you're going to look at these tomatoes and say, damn, he just dropped the tomato on the floor. No, you're going to really say to yourself, this is a great way to take the tomatoes to the next level. But you can only do this with a good quality olive oil. Don't do it with anything else, because you are seriously having a lot of olive oil here. And if you had to do this with like another cheap hydrogenated oil, you're going to end up writing to me saying you had cardiac arrest. And I don't want that. I need you to be a fan. Take a look at what we got here. All right, we're going to season this with cracked black pepper. That's what goes directly into that. Now we're going to get a little bit of salt. Now we're going to get a little bit of salt here, right on top. And we're going to let it do its thing. We're going to let it kind of cook down. We're going to get the flavor of the garlic, the olive oil, and at the very end, we're going to put some of these cheeses in there. At the very end, we're just going to baste it with the cheese. Now, I made my own sun-dried tomato. I don't call it a tapenade, but what I do is I take the sun-dried tomatoes and I bring them to a very light simmer like this with the oil. And I use dried sun-dried tomatoes. And I let it sit overnight. Just leave it sitting in the back of the stove. And if the camera guy could just zoom in on that, you see that beautiful color on that tomato? That is a serious tomato flavor. So I am only putting this in there for extra tomato flavor. We're going to get to a show one day. I'm going to show you how to make tomato water. Okay? Yeah, tomato water. What you do is you take the tomatoes, you puree them, you put them through a coffee filter, and you get the water from the tomatoes out. I used to use that to season stuff at the restaurant all day long. All right, you can already see this is coming down, the pike. And then start to hit the olive oil on top. Look at that. I mean, already it's just coming together. We did nothing to this dish and it looks amazing. Let's raise it up one temperature. All right, we got this, that. Now, I do this for creamy texture, a little bit of butter. That butter happens to be 98% butter fat. 98% butter fat. It's a very expensive bar. 1 pound of butter costs $14. It is an incredible company. They're located outside the south of France. Maybe I shouldn't even say they sell in the US. They gave it to me anyway, so it's not even supposed to be here, but we're using it. We're gonna put a little bit of onions in there. Now, there are onions that you should stay away from with this dish. This is a vitale onion. I would not use a shallot. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't use a yellow onion. You might be saying an onion's an onion. It's really not the case. There are different flavors in different onions. And you know, a scallion is from the onion family. Chives are from the onion family. So you have to be careful with, you know, what your application you're using. Now this onion tends to be a lot more sweeter. So it's going to enhance the flavor of these tomatoes. Now take a look at the tomatoes again. You're going to start to see now the skin on top get pruny. That's an indication to me that we're going in the right direction. We're going to drop the onion in there and shake the saute pan because we want the onions to go into the oil. We don't want them to sit on top. We're going to raise this up a bit and we want the onions to go down there. We're talking about some real good deep flavor here. And this in the oven would go good, folks. Like I said, if you wanted to take this and put it in the oven, I'm just going to do the whole show straight up here like this. All right, now we got this pasta. Now, this is called gili pasta, G-I-G-L-I. But to me, it almost looks like tortilla pasta, the torches. You say tomato, I say tomato. Now this is going right in the pasta water with this incredible vodka sauce by Frescobene. And it is bene. Okay, we're gonna take that, put that in there. At the same time, we're going down with this pasta, which honestly, we don't need all of it. We're just gonna do half. We salted the water before. What's the rule of thumb with salting water? Should you salt the water before cooking it? Absolutely. Okay, and the rule of thumb is for every gallon of water, it's a 1/4 cup of salt. Now, I should point out too, and you might be saying salt is salt, but that is totally false, because Red Cross salt tends to be the highest potent, I would say, and then it goes kosher salt, and then it goes to sea salt. Flor de sal has a very distinctive flavor, so I wouldn't use that in pasta water. And there's something else called Muldoon salt. You put that on ice cream. You put that on the top of a steak. You put that on the top of fruit. It almost acts like MSG, monosodium glutamate, but it's not. But it enhances the flavor of those products. So it's a really good flavor. Muldoon sea salt. Check it out. It's expensive. You can get it on Amazon. You're going to love it. Okay, now, what we're going to do at the very end, because we're about there, and I want to show you these tomatoes here a second. You see how they turn this whole? Take a look at these tomatoes. They're soft, but they're not squished. So they're cooked. Now we're going to leave it sitting like this until the pasta is ready, because we don't want to overcook this. If I turn this over, look at that beauty. That is beauty right there, right? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to turn them over now, so the backs get the same amount of attention. You know, you treat all your kids equally, right? Treat all your tomatoes equally too. Looks amazing. Amazing. Coming over to our pasta. All right, so now we're going to get to the part where we're going to assemble. I did want to show you one thing, and we're going to move some of these tomatoes. See how delicate you have to go? I just again want to pick one up here. Look, that's what we're looking for. And I don't need the skin off. I don't want the skin off, actually. I happen to like the skin on a tomato. A lot of people get freaked out by this, but look at the garlic, look at the tomatoes, look at the onions. Nothing is overcooked here, and that's because we went on a low simmer. Now what we're going to do is take this arugula, because I find with this dish, the bitterness of the arugula really adds to the flavor of this whole dish. And we're talking wilted arugula, wilted, right? Wilted, not overcooked, it's wilted. And it's going to give us a nice green color, flavor, and stuff like that. Okay, let's take a look at this sauce. The sauce comes out in a bag, which is like the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life, because you could cook the pasta in there as well. Dry that off so you don't get, we don't want any water in here. We just want this sauce. And it's going to come out of this bag super hot. And use a pair of tongs if you don't have asbestos hands like I do. And what I do is I like to snip it and hold it at the top. I'm a big fan with sauces down on the bottom, because I just think that you should eat from the top to the bottom, and you kind of get what you want at the bottom down there. Now what we're going to do is put our pasta here. We're going to strain our pasta, which is ready. Yeah, you can feel it. I tend to like my pasta a little al dente. This is the way I am. It's the way I roll. Now, you could take this pasta and mix it in with the sauce. Like, don't think there's no variations to this dish. There is. Now, I got to leave this here for a couple of seconds. I want it to be really, really, really dry. And then what I'm going to do is take the olive oil. I'm going to put it all over the pasta, move it around a little bit. Layer it in here, put the stuff on top, and we're gonna have ourselves a meal. Like, we're gonna get busy, okay? Now, if you're wondering why I let this air out, pasta absorbs anything when it's hot. Don't ever rinse your pasta out. Oh, I'm gonna rinse it out with cold water and put sauce in it. You're done. Don't even, it's like you're eating carbohydrate crap. Okay, now, back here, and I don't mind going right into this plate either. Actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Let me go right in there. Right in there. No rules. Okay. Getting all that sauce, all that wonderful oil. Okay, we're going right in there. Oh man, I'm all in this. All in this. Woo! If you're a sauce lover, this is going to be for you. All right, now we got our pasta nestled in this incredible sauce. Now we're going with the tomatoes right on top. And the tomatoes are like ready just to burst with flavor. They're bursting. They're saying, I don't know if I can hold myself together. This guy's got us ready to pop. There's only one thing left on this baby, right? Shaved Pecorino Romano. And we got some grana padano. Grana padano. Got ourselves a meal here, okay? Now, if this isn't Italian, I don't know what is. But if you thought there were rules in cooking, you are wrong. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the pasta done my way with a tomato twist.